Imagine this. The first rays of sunlight break over the endless sands, painting the desert gold. The air is still, heavy with the weight of history and secrets. You're standing on the Giza Plateau, where the ancient world meets the present. Before you rises a monument that has defied time, weather, and explanation. The Great Pyramid towers above you, 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing as much as a pickup truck, some as heavy as 80 tons. The sheer scale is almost impossible to comprehend, even as you stand in its shadow. Now here's the problem. According to the official story, these stones were quarried, transported across miles of harsh desert, lifted, and placed with copper tools, wooden sleds, rope, and human muscle, over 4,500 years ago. No advanced machinery, just ingenuity and determination. No steel, no wheels, no cranes, just the raw power of thousands of workers and simple tools that seem almost laughable by today's standards. And yet, the pyramid is aligned to true north with an error of just 0.05 degrees, more accurate than many modern buildings. Its sides are almost perfectly straight, its corners razor sharp after millennia. So the question isn't, how impressive is this? The question is, are we missing something? Could there be lost knowledge or forgotten methods hidden in plain sight? Because either ancient Egypt mastered engineering techniques we no longer understand, or the story we've been told is incomplete. The mystery deepens with every stone, every unanswered question. Tonight we're going to walk that line. Slowly, we'll search for clues, challenge assumptions, and see if we can get any closer to the truth behind this ancient enigma. Let's start with what we're taught. Most of us first hear about the pyramids in school, where the story seems straightforward and settled. Mainstream Egyptology says the pyramids were built around 2600 BCE, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. According to textbooks, this was a time of great ambition and organization, when the ancient Egyptians supposedly marshaled thousands of workers to create these monumental tombs. The official narrative tells us that workers, not slaves, cut limestone blocks from nearby quarries, hauled them on sleds lubricated with water, dragged them across the desert, and stacked them using ramps. It's presented as a feat of human determination and clever engineering. Simple, right? But here's the first crack in that story. We have no surviving ramps. Not straight ramps. Not zigzag ramps. Not spiral ramps. For a project of this scale, you'd expect at least some evidence to remain. And before you say, they were dismantled, ask yourself this. Why did Egypt preserve mud brick storage sheds, trash pits, and even workers' graffiti, but somehow erase the single, most important engineering structure in human history? It doesn't quite add up. Second crack. The precision. Some casing stones were fitted so tightly you can't slide a razor blade between them. The joints are nearly invisible, even after thousands of years of weathering. Even today, achieving that level of precision on multi-ton stone blocks requires power tools or advanced measuring instruments. Modern construction struggles to match this accuracy, especially on such a massive scale. Copper chisels dull quickly. Stone hammers fracture unpredictably. These were the tools available to the ancient Egyptians, and yet the results seem to defy what those tools should be capable of. So how did they do this millions of times? How did they maintain such consistency, block after block, year after year, with only primitive tools? And here's where things start getting uncomfortable. The more you look, the more the official story seems to raise questions instead of answers. Let's talk math. To build the Great Pyramid in 20 years, the commonly cited timeline, you'd need to place one block every 2 to 3 minutes, day and night, without stopping, for 2 decades. That includes quarrying, transporting, lifting, placing, aligning. Every single block. And some blocks, like those in the King's Chamber, were transported from Aswan, over 500 miles away. These granite blocks weigh 50 to 80 tons. Even modern cranes struggle with that. So let's pause. Is it impossible with ancient methods? No. But is it miraculously efficient? Absolutely. And when human history relies on miracles, we usually start asking better questions. Now let's step into the gray zone, the stuff that rarely makes textbooks. These are the anomalies, the outliers, the details that don't quite fit the neat story we're often told about ancient Egypt. They're the questions that keep researchers up at night, and the mysteries that spark endless debates. First, let's talk about stone hardness. The ancient Egyptians worked with granite, a stone that's notoriously tough to shape, even with today's technology. Granite ranks about 6 to 7 on the Mohs scale. Copper. That's around 3. So how did copper tools manage to carve and shape millions of granite blocks with such precision? The numbers just don't add up. Repeated copper cutting would require constant resharpening, yet, we find no industrial-scale copper debris proportional to pyramid construction. There's a puzzling lack of waste, as if the process was far more efficient or different than we imagine. Second, there's the internal geometry. The Great Pyramid isn't just a pile of rocks, it's a mathematical marvel. The Great Pyramid encodes things like pi, phi, the golden ratio, and even precise Earth measurements like the length of the northern hemisphere. Coincidence? Maybe. But the level of accuracy is astonishing, and it raises questions about the knowledge and intent of its builders. But, honestly, coincidence stacks up pretty fast at Giza. Third, there's vitrified stone that looks melted, not broken. Some researchers point to areas where stone surfaces appear melted or fused, not chipped. This isn't what you'd expect from simple hammer and chisel work. That implies heat or energy, not impact. Theories range from lost chemical processes to unknown forms of ancient technology. And this is where the phrase lost technology enters the conversation, and immediately, gets people labeled as crazy. But let's be precise. Lost technology simply means methods or knowledge that have vanished over time. Lost technology doesn't mean aliens. It doesn't mean lasers. It means there are gaps in our understanding, and that's okay. It means knowledge that didn't survive. Maybe it was written down and lost, or maybe it was never recorded at all, which, honestly, leads to an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, the more we learn, the more we realize how much we still don't know about the ancient world. History isn't a straight line. Civilizations collapse, reset, and forget. The Romans had concrete stronger than ours, and forgot how to make it. The Greeks built analog computers, and lost the knowledge. Ancient maps show Antarctica before ice, and we still don't know how. So, is it really impossible that ancient Egypt possessed engineering techniques, mechanical, acoustic, chemical, or mathematical, that were never written down? Remember, papyrus decays. Stone inscriptions preserve religion, not engineering manuals. What survives isn't what was important, it's what was sacred. So what if pyramid construction relied on harmonic resonance, counterweight systems, advanced surveying, stone softening techniques, or mechanical principles we've never reconstructed? Not magic, just missing context. Here's the real reason this question makes people nervous. If ancient humans were more capable than we assume, then the idea of linear progress just collapses. It suggests intelligence doesn't equal technology, modern humans didn't invent brilliance, and we may be rediscovering, not advancing. And, that's deeply uncomfortable, because it challenges the idea that we are the pinnacle. Maybe the pyramids weren't built by gods, but maybe they weren't built by primitives either. Maybe they were built by people who understood the world differently. So, did ancient Egyptians use lost technology? There's no smoking gun, no machine buried under the sand, but there are unanswered questions, mathematical precision, logistical impossibilities, engineering anomalies, and honestly, history doesn't like questions that don't behave. The pyramids are still standing, silent, precise, unexplained, and maybe the greatest mystery isn't how they were built, but why we stopped asking.